New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Now, I don't know who to yell at this evening. It's either me or Jeff Radcliff. But you see, when Jeff came on 30 seconds ago into the green room, that he reminded me that maybe we should get this show going. Well, hello there, everyone. Greetings and welcome. This is the Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and I am broadcasting this evening from the top secret, secure concrete bunker, surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts, and a very safe location in and around the Akron area that is so secret that we will not, I will not, disclose the location to anyone except for Diego Reyes. He knows where the top secret bunker is located. Everyone else has no clue, especially that Robert Brzezinski fella, who I went into his studio before his good news program this evening to harass him. So I don't know, he may do that tonight. We have a wonderful show for you tonight. If you could, it would be wonderful if you could go ahead and post a comment in Facebook or YouTube, or if you want to, for all my shy people out there, send me an email. PastorMichaelMangus@gmail.com, PastorMichaelMangus@gmail.com. I read them during the week. Please feel free to contact me through that email address, PastorMichaelMangus@gmail.com. So our purpose here at the Fireside Chat is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought perspective. And as I keep saying week after week, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on in the world. If we really do want to create a world that works for all, that means that each and every one of us has to come from our oneness. We are all one on the invisible side of life. So that means that we have a part to play in bringing about this world that works for all. Ladies and gentlemen, he is back this week, and I picked out some of the stories because I know that he has one or two comments about them. It is so nice to have with us, fresh from his Homiletics 101 class, the Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Jeff is from the great state of Tennessee and always has a comment or two about the news and how we can always come from a spiritual perspective. Jeff Radcliff will be with us here in the bottom half of the hour. All right, it's time for the news. Oh my, so much to talk about this week. I had to edit myself, Jeff. So President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump visited different sectors of the U.S.-Mexico border on Thursday as a migrant crisis became a dominant issue in the 2024 presidential race. Trump spoke about his border security priorities from Eagle Pass, Texas, while Biden met border agents and spoke from Brownsville. Trump tore into Biden's handling of illegal immigration and leaned into his scare tactics over the border, falsely claiming that we are being overrun by migrants. On the other hand, Biden made his remarks urging lawmakers to reconsider a bipartisan border patrol package that failed earlier this month, in large part due to the opposition of Trump, who wants some of the problems to continue throughout the election cycle so that he can be the big hero. The president called out Trump's meddling, but also called on the former president to work with him on migration. And if that wasn't enough, you can blame Jeff Radcliff on this next one, because he sent the article to me. Arizonan Republicans advance bill legislating killing migrants on suspicion of trespassing. I can't make this stuff up. Arizona Republicans are advancing a bill that would allow people to legally kill someone accused of attempting to trespass or actively trespass on their property. Now, the legislation, which is expected to be vetoed if it reaches the state's Democratic governor, would legalize the murder of undocumented immigrants who often have to cross ranches that sit on the state's border with Mexico. State Representative Justin Heap, who's a Republican, said that the bill is intended to close a loophole by which migrants have moved within the U.S. George Allen Kelly, who's an Arizona rancher, was accused of killing a migrant while walking through his 170-acre property last year, per the Arizona Republic, and his trial is now set for March 21st. Premises is defined in the bill to mean any property or structure occupied or not. Americans consider immigration the country's single most important problem for the first time since 2019. And nationally, infighting, blame shifting, and indecision have challenged the Biden administration's border approach. Have they gone crazy in Arizona? Do you mean that they're going to have open season on migrants? Are you kidding? Now, President Biden has worked across the aisle and got a lot of heat to produce a bill that would strengthen the border's protections. However, it went down to defeat because number 45 doesn't want a solution. Trump wants it to be a campaign issue. And by the way, there has been an increase of individuals wanting to live in the U.S. Now, the challenge has been to process all of them going through the asylum application. We do not have open or porous borders. Can we get that? The Judeo-Christian ethic is to welcome the foreigner. I wish that some of these Christians would get their Bible out and read it, because it says it right in the book. So why are these individuals coming to the United States risking life and limb? Well, because the conditions from the countries they came from are below poverty conditions, below poverty. Unbelievable. So wouldn't you wish for a better life if you could take your family to another country? Opening fire on armless armless immigrants, say that 3 times, isn't the answer. And please don't start me about the Texas National Guard kicking out the U.S. Border Patrol at Eagles Pass, Texas. Let's talk about something a little more pleasant. Donald Trump and his estate at Mar-a-Lago host a gay wedding. Former President Donald Trump is facing criticism from some conservatives after his Florida estate Mar-a-Lago hosted a same-sex wedding. John Sullivan, vice chair and treasurer of the great state of Tennessee Log Cabin Republicans, and his husband, Dan Medora, got married at Mar-a-Lago on February 23rd, according to an Instagram post. Sullivan told Newsweek in a statement on Friday that the wedding was one of the most stunning locations in the world, and he praised the Mar-a-Lago team as being inclusive since day one and having a fantastic time. However, the shift hit the fan. Some social conservatives reacted with anger to Trump's property hosting a same-sex wedding, underscoring tensions within the GOP. Now, Jeff Radcliff in the green room, please do not start throwing things at your computer with what I'm about to say. Trump has sought to cast himself as the most pro-gay president in U.S. history, and at times has used more moderate rhetoric on the LGBTQ plus community than other Republicans. His more mild rhetoric has fueled, though, some skepticism from some of the GOP's most religious and conservative voters. Christian activist Morgan Ariel responded to the wedding in a post to X, writing, "Donald Trump is hosting gay weddings at Mar-a-Lago, and people still think that he's going to save America." Conservative commentator Stu Peters wrote this: "Trump hosting gay weddings at Mar-a-Lago is cringe AF." He actually said that, Jeff Radcliff. So Russ Signer wrote on X, he says, "Vote for Trump because he will uphold our values." Never mind. So Sullivan responded to conservative criticism over the wedding, writing that he and Medora respected the viewpoints of conservatives who do not support same-sex weddings. However, these individuals, said Sullivan, exist within the Democratic Party as well. Well, Mr. Sullivan, not as many as in the Republican Party. Okay, let me share with you that. Regardless, though, we respect individuals and also religious freedoms, and we know that there's enough common ground shared with our fellow Americans to make progress on critical issues like restoring border security, ending foreign conflicts, and securing energy independence among the top items there. Newsweek reached out to Trump's campaign for a comment. Mar-a-Lago has previously held other LGBTQ plus events, including in 2022, when the Log Cabin Republicans held their Spirit of Lincoln Gala at the property. Also, Trump gave a speech at the event while former First Lady Melania Trump was given an award. Trump said at the event, "We are fighting for the gay community, and we are fighting and fighting hard." Most pro-gay president? And you have the evangelicals supporting you? Something doesn't connect here. By the way, though, congratulations to the happy couple. Reverend Jeff may have something to say about his fellow citizens of Tennessee. All right, one more here. A blockbuster California storm is set to unload up to 10 feet of snow and blizzard conditions in part of the state throughout the weekend. The storm will bury California under its biggest snowfall of the year and create treacherous travel conditions with up to 5 inches of snow per hour expected along the Sierra Nevada mountains. The most extreme conditions will unfold at the highest elevations in the Sierra, with wind gusts up to 100 miles per hour. Now, in Texas, this is what they're experiencing. They're bracing for more dry air and ferocious winds today and into the weekend, likely fueling the flames of several wildfires in the region. The deadly Smokehouse Creek fire has torched more than 1 million acres in Texas alone, making it the largest fire on record for the state. And can you say climate crisis instead of climate change? To all of you viewing from California and also Texas, stay safe out there. All right. Jeff, I'm done with the news at 1845. Yes, I can do that without Diego. See, Diego used to say this. He said, if I didn't get done with the news by 20 after, this is what would have happened. He would just take me off. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Good to see everyone this evening. If you would like to, please leave a comment and we will get to it during the show. Again, good to see everyone this evening. We have a few announcements here, and then we'll do some promotional messages and then come back with Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Yours truly has parked himself at Summit CSL. For more information, go to summitcsl.org. There you will find information about our wonderful Sunday gathering online at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time. Grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, whatever wakes you up on a Sunday morning, and please join us. We do have, I believe, one of the best services that I have seen in New Thought. And this Sunday, we will have speaking our spiritual director and also Reverend Jeff's new friend, practitioner Diana Mangus. So go to summitcsl.org for more information on how to join the Zoom call. Our service is also simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page, and our Facebook page also has past broadcasts of the Fireside Chat and yours truly when he is praying on the New Thought Media Network. And if you could please consider a donation to help support the vision and mission of this wonderful network, we would very much appreciate it. Again, we're going into the third month here, and we still have not met our budget for 2024. Please, if you could, and if you appreciate the programs here, please go to ntmedia.org/donate. There you can give a very generous one-time gift, or what you can do is also do like myself and others here on our network. We give on a monthly basis. Sustaining gifts really help us to plan and set budgets. We don't set the budgets based upon the one-time gifts. We set them based upon our monthly giving. So if you could please help us out, ntmedia.org/donate. Okay. Let's go sell some soap, as Reverend Jim Webb on Sunday evenings says that we do. So we'll take a commercial timeout, and then we'll be right back. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe DeMuro.
It was a treat. It was a bonding. It was a celebration of men. It was a celebration of men who want to deepen in their spiritual awareness of one another, of themselves.
Welcome. We are a brotherhood of spiritually minded and open-hearted positive men. We invite you to join us.
And I came in knowing one person. I left knowing all of the group. And I feel like I came in knowing meeting strangers, but knowing and leaving brothers.
Come experience the New Thought Men's Gathering, Foundations 2024. Friday, March 15th through Sunday, March 17th. With Reverend Robert Brzezinski, Reverend Patrick Creelman, Reverend Eamon Duffy, and special guest musician Jamie Lula. In Vernonia, Oregon, at Camp Cedar Ridge. Learn more and register at www.newthoughtmens.community.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
Reverend Jeff Radcliff, has everyone gone crazy?
Everybody has gone absolutely freaking nuts.
So where do you want to start in this news?
Oh my gosh, there's so much to cover. So much to cover.
Well, let's start here. How about the most pro-gay president ever, Donald Trump?
I don't have my airsick bag close to me, so I can't actually make use of that. But I will totally disagree with that.
Okay.
No. No, he has shown himself to be a supporter of himself. Okay. He doesn't give a damn about anybody else. And then that's his right. I mean, it's his right as an expression of divinity to express however he wants. The rest of it think he's not cool. That's not the word I'd like to use, but I would,
you don't want to get me hauled into the principal's office on Monday afternoon, do you?
No. See, the thing of it is, Reverend Robert would come after me too. Because,
he would. Okay.
He hasn't yet, but he could, and so I'm going to behave myself. But no, when El Trumpo says that he is a friend of the LGBTQ community, I just kind of roll my eyes and laugh because it's not true.
Congratulations, though, to John Sullivan and Dan Medora.
Yeah. I mean,
how wonderful. From your great state of Tennessee.
Now here. Oh, and this is something I wanted to bring up. I am from the great state of West Virginia. I only live in Tennessee. Okay. I don't claim this as my home. Okay. I am a transplanted mountaineer. So let's keep that in mind. But I congratulate them on their wedding, and I wish them worlds of happiness. I have to wonder what it was within them that made them think that getting married at Mar-a-Lago was going to be a thing, a good thing, but whatever.
So again, conservative commentator Stu Peters wrote this. He says, Trump hosting gay weddings at Mar-a-Lago is cringe AF.
It's cringe, but not for the reason he thinks it is. It's cringe because it's Trump and it's Mar-a-Lago. It's not for the reason he says that it is. But it's interesting to see some of these people and their reactions to this, because Jesus said, you can tell people by their fruits. He said, by their fruits you will know them.
Yes.
Well, this one just definitely does not have any love at all within him if this is going to set him that far off the deep end, So it's puzzling, isn't it?
It just is. So do you think it's going to affect his support in the evangelical community?
It might a little, but probably not enough to make a difference.
However,
there are going to be those diehard people who are so dead set against anything that smacks of LGBTQ, that smacks of immigrants, that's anything. If it's got people of color, whether they're rainbow colored or brown or black, it's not going to set well with them. But I don't know that there are enough of them who are going to really make a difference, given the given his constituency right now, there are so many others who call themselves Republican who do not adhere to the MAGA mindset, so that I guess this guy is going to be a subset of MAGA, and MAGA is still such a subset of the general GOP. It's not going to make any difference. Who gives up?
Well, again, he's at
Whatever.
the religious broadcaster saying all kinds of stuff,
Oh,
and I didn't even get into the in vitro fertilization story
oh, don't get me started. Oh my God.
from Alabama, where their Supreme Court ruled that fertilized eggs are human beings.
See, this is what happens when the Supreme Court of the United States allows corporations to be known as people. Once that got started, it just opened the door. They were worried about same-sex marriage, and the next thing you know, it's going to open up doors, and men are going to be marrying their dogs, and crap like that. No, what it did, Citizens United opened up the door to, now we're saying, oh, these little frozen embryos, which contain life, but are not in the and of themselves technically alive.
Yes.
We're making them a person.
Right.
And I go back to what my Jewish brothers and sisters say. There's no life there until there is breath drawn, because Scripture says Adam was not alive until God breathed the life of spirit within him. So and the Jews have been around a whole lot longer than we have. So I'm going to defer to them and their wisdom in this. I totally agree. If that is not, that little embryo is not going to be able to live outside of either the frozen test tube or the mother's womb once it's implanted. And even then, just because it's implanted doesn't mean it's going to come to fruition. So
let me share with all of those in Alabama. What's going to happen is this: your doctors are going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Your doctors are going to leave because, again, couples will still go get IVF treatment. Okay, they just won't do it in your state. They'll go to other states and do it. So
it's well known that what they do is they harvest a bunch of eggs and they fertilize them, hoping that whenever they go to implant them, one of them is going to take root. We know that not all of them are going to do that.
Right.
It comes with the territory. It's the way it works. And that's unfortunate, but to say these are children and they deserve to be protected, you've got no guarantee that little embryo is going to be implanted and successfully take and lead to a full-term pregnancy. And you've got no guarantee that it's going to lead to a baby.
So what happens? So what happens if you have both mother and father, if they go ahead and unfortunately die?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with the eggs?
Exactly.
From how the law reads now through Alabama Supreme Court, which I don't think has a heck of a chance of seeing the light of day because of other court challenges, that this whole idea of life starting what's going to happen if you have a father and mother who pass away? You mean you cannot get rid of the eggs? That's what it's saying.
Mm-hmm. Who pays for that? into perpetuity. They're going to keep these eggs frozen forever. Who pays for that? And what happened? This is Alabama, for heaven's sake. It's part of the Tornado Alley. What if a twister blows through there and knocks them offline?
Right.
Knocks out the electricity or whatever. What if it destroys the building? Who's liable then for the loss of all those embryos? Somebody, according to the SCOTUS of Alabama, is going to have to pay for that. And they're going to have to go to jail for that. Who are you going to send to jail? They have not thought this through.
The tornado? No, they're going to send God to jail because it was an act of God. And so God went ahead and killed all those embryos.
I can appreciate the humor in that. Ain't going to happen there. The GOP is they are a subset of the American people in general, and Americans, unfortunately, are not known for looking very far ahead into the future to plan for things. We look at stuff, we focus on things right here in front of our face, never paying attention to what could happen further down the road.
Right.
And what they're doing right here is they're so micro focused on the now that they can't see anything past that. And because of that, they're coming up with some of the stupidest kind of crap that you'd ever want to put out in a legislative form. It's God showing up as stupidity. That's all it is. That's all it is.
We're talking this evening with Reverend Jeff Radcliff. You're watching the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I see that we do have some individuals watching this evening. Thank you so very much. If you'd like to comment, please do so, either on Facebook or on YouTube. We would love to interact with you and to have a more wonderful discussion. Besides,
if I have offended you, Reverend Michael at gmail.com.
Pastor Michael Mangus at
Michael Mangus at gmail.com. That's who you complain to. Don't send it to me.
So what do you think of the you're the one that sent me this story about the Arizona Republicans?
There's a bill that says you put my hands up in the air and go, what the hell? What the hell?
So I see someone coming across my land. Does that mean that I can pick up my rifle and take him out? That is what this is saying.
That's what it sounds like, isn't it? Doesn't it? This is not castle doctrine. This is not stand your ground. This is like go out and pick off a brown person.
Exactly.
That's it. Exactly. That's it. That is it. They don't.
I think what the Republican legislature is doing is this is for their base. They know that there is no chance in Hades that they're going to get this bill through because of the Democratic governor. So they go ahead and they say, well, we're doing something about the borders. We're doing something about those migrants crossing the border illegally. We're doing something while your federal government's not doing anything, which is a big lie.
They had bipartisan stuff in the works.
Yes.
Trump got in there and said, don't do that. The reason he said that is not because he didn't believe in the bill that was being put forward. He's using it as red meat for his constituents. He's throwing a bone out basically to the rabid masses saying, I'm going to stop because
Yeah, it leaves you speechless. I get
it
that.
does. It does. Words fail me, and that is hard to do. You know that. You know how hard it is to render me speechless. So
Well,
whenever I'm at a loss for words, damn son, you've done something good. You've done something. I mean, seriously.
Jeff, so how do we pray about this?
How do we pray about it? That's funny. That's funny. I've been watching a lot of different videos lately from Johnny Coleman, Reverend Dr. Johnny Coleman from Christ Universal Temple in Chicago. Also, I've been watching a lot of videos from the late Reverend Dr. Mary Tumpkin from the
Yes.
Universal Truth Center in Miami Gardens, Florida, and all I've gotten from them is, and Reverend Mary said it best the other day, and I thought this was awesome. She referred to God as omnipresent good.
Yes.
Omnipresent good, because that's what God is. God is all good all the time. God is everywhere, equally present within the entirety of the universe as we know it. God is all there is.
Right.
So when we look at omnipresent good, we know, even though our eyes are telling us that we're looking at something that might be a little off from that, even though our ears are telling us we're hearing things that maybe don't sync up with that, those are facts. Those aren't truth. Facts are changeable. The truth is, everybody out there, regardless of the craziness that they go in for, or the lack of craziness, whatever, we're all God incarnate. And therefore, to pray is to know that Spirit is there within each and every person. And all we can do is affirm that Spirit is going to come through in the highest and best manner for everybody concerned.
Yes.
Regardless of what it looks like. It may not measure up to our standards, our human standards, the way we see things, but that's okay, because like the Bible says, I believe it's in Psalms. I'll have to go back and look. God looks on things differently than we do. God's thoughts are not our thoughts. God's ways are not our ways. So God sees from a higher perspective. We have that within us to see as God sees. The majority of us just have not risen in consciousness to get to that level. We're getting there. Slowly but surely we're getting there. But until we do, we just have to trust that God knows better. Ernest Holmes said that there is a power in the universe greater than we are. And that is the omnipresence of God. That is God in its totality. We are God, little God. We are not the totality of God, but the totality of God resides within us at some point. One day, the two of them are going to sync up. But until they do, God is up here, we're down here a little ways, and that's okay. We just pray to see things as Spirit sees them.
So since you are the smartest knife in the drawer,
right now, anyway.
Right now.
Is Diana around? Because I think Diana could give me a run for my money. Where's Diana?
Yeah, she's in the other room.
Okay.
Yeah, we paid off her house today, which is nice.
Very cool. All right.
Yeah, we finally.
Now that you've got all that extra cash freed up,
Yeah.
Reverend Jeff at let me give you my email.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, Reverend Jeff, so then how do you explain evil in the world?
How do I explain evil? I was just reading about that actually just earlier today. uh, somebody sent me, I believe it was Reverend Michelle Whittington, sent me a concordance from New Thought Writers, and this has been invaluable to me. And one of the things that I was reading about today was appearances, and appearances are definitely deceiving. They're not, all the things that we look for. But one of the things that they were talking about was evil, and evil basically, and I can't remember exactly who said this, and I wish I could, because I've been looking at all kinds of different New Thought teachers from years and years ago. But basically, evil is the idea that we are separate from spirit, that we're separate from God. It's a mistake. It's an idea that is, well, it's wrong. What we need to do in order to get past that is to deny that this idea that we are separate from God has any kind of power over us whatsoever, because it doesn't. And then we affirm the truth, which is God is all there is. God is the manifest universe, seen and unseen.
Yes.
And that resides within us. That is how we overcome evil. Oh, evil is just that mistaken idea that we're separate, and we're not. We really are not.
So another question for you. So we just had, I know. Centers for Spiritual Living just had its conference last week. It was very affirming, very supportive of everyone. And that there are still some individuals who believe that the only thing that we should do is, as an organization, is just to teach principle and not to be involved in the effects, not to be involved in what is going on in the world with our LGBTQ friends and family, not to be allies for our Black and brown brothers and sisters. So what say you, Reverend Jeff?
And that's a little too Christian Science for me. Mary Baker Eddy had some really good ideas, including the fact that everything we see is spiritual in form. But she took it a step, in my opinion, and in the opinion of Emma Curtis Hopkins, took it a little too far when she denied the reality of the material world. You can't deny the reality of the material world. I've got books sitting right here that I've got card decks sitting right here. They have form, they have shape. I can touch them. They are not just an idea in the mind of God, they are an actuality. And that is what caused Melinda Kramer and the Brooks sisters to leave behind Christian Science and begin divine science, because Nona Brooks said that there's no way that we could deny the material world. It has essence. It's here. We can touch it. You can't deny it. So we can take it just a step farther than what Mrs. Eddy did. We can see the power of spirit behind it, but we also know that it actually has physical form. It has shape. There is something to the material, and because of that, we can pray knowing that as we change our minds about what it is that we're observing, Quantum physics says you observe it. The observer tends to influence that which is observed. So
Yes.
when we go in to treat and we go in to pray, we're not doing it to change outside circumstances. We're doing it to change ourselves and our perceptions and our minds about what it is that we're seeing. And when we change our minds about what it is we're seeing, believe it or not, those things we're looking at can change.
And
Maybe they don't always change the way we would like them to change. That's where God comes in. Like I said, yeah, God is higher than us.
And that is where that I think that
So
again
we're doing cause, which is right here. Okay.
Right. And I think that with the whole idea is that for us not to be supportive of individuals, again, that the New Thought movement, you mentioned Emma Curtis Hopkins, that she supported, again, women's right to vote and women's rights. Same thing with Wallace Wattles, is that he was not only a minister, but also a candidate for office, and also was for workers' rights. So for us to go ahead and deny that and or to not support our brothers and sisters. And the other thing I really liked about the conference, and this came out a couple of times last week, was that, yes, we treat and move our feet. However, the one thing that we also have is we have a vision for what we want instead. That is important too. It's not that we fight the man or fight the system, is that we have a vision of what we want the world to be after all of this is done. So I think that having that vision out there and having individuals, again, hold the vision of a world that does work for all, I think is very, very important, because again, you can fight and fight and fight, be on the street, get all burned out about that stuff without having the vision to be able to say, well, this is what we're going towards.
Right. And Jesus himself, if you want to go back to the Bible and look at scripture, Jesus said, the things that you do for the least of these, you're doing for me. How can we not look at the world around us and see people out on the street, people suffering, people sick or hungry or in need of medical care, and turn our backs on them because the material world doesn't exist? Bullshit. Sorry, Robert. That's just crazy talk. That's crazy talk. We see these people because they are extensions of divinity. They are us.
Yes.
They are just another version of us. And like St. Paul said in the book of Philippians chapter 4, it's verse 8, he says, don't be anxious about anything, but in everything, in every situation, by prayer and petition, give with thanksgiving, present your request made known to God. And then he goes on to say, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, if it's admirable, if it's excellent or praiseworthy, think about those things.
Yes.
Those are the things that we desire for ourselves. Those are the things that we desire to see in our life. And when we think on those things, we're not thinking them just for us. We're thinking them for everybody else, because we're all connected. When we focus on the negativity, that's what we're going to end up with. But when we focus on those good things, those things that are pure and holy and just, the things that are going to uplift humanity. That is why we were here. It's like the book of Esther says, for that reason alone, you were brought to the kingdom for such a time as this. To
Absolutely.
do those things. You can send your donations to Rev.Jen.
I was going to say, thank you, brother. Preach.
But that's it. But
Go
that's it in a news. That's it in a nutshell, right there. We think on the good that we desire for ourselves, because what we desire for ourselves is what we're giving to the world.
Absolutely. Now, that does not mean that we do like our Christian Science friends and just go ahead and just deny, that it's there. We realize it's there, and we, again, treat and move our feet. However, the other thing, too, again, is setting the vision for a world that does work for all, which I believe that is where we are heading, not only as an organization, but also as different New Thought organizations. Again, we're all going in the same path here.
And not only that, but if you just look at the political world around us here in the United States anyway, and then, of course, it extends into other countries. What we desire for ourselves is a world that works for everyone. And in order to do that, we have to be on the same page. And even if we're not, those of us who are looking to the good can see the good and can proclaim the good and claim the good and speak the good and allow it to manifest. Everybody else can benefit from that as well, even if they don't believe, even if they don't buy into it. That's fine. We can do this.
You're not going
to do this.
You're not going to believe this.
We're out of time.
We're out of time. See, we get going here. Well, listen, Jeff, again, thank you so very much for your insight, for putting up with me.
I hope it was useful. I hope I did justice to our teaching.
You do, my friend. Thank you so very much for your insight, and thank you for being a part of the team that's bringing about that world that works for all. So thank you. All right, time for us to get out of here. And again, if you could, please consider helping us out. ntmedia.org/donate. That's always appreciated. A programming note on Sunday evening, Reverend Jim Webb's Miracles of Prosperity. We'll have a very special guest host, yours truly, talking about the teachings of Catherine Ponder and the whole idea that let us sow good seed for our prosperity. So that's coming up this Sunday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, here on your New Thought Media Network. Reverend Michael Mangus, I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night, and we will see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.